BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe, with another review here Wednesday night. I am your regular Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It's Universal Week, and I just took a quick look at the lineup. It's not your usual Universal lineup. I'm not sure exactly what I mean by that, but with Universal, you tend to expect certain things, and this ought to be an interesting week, though, I think. Starting with, not starting with, because we're Wednesday, right? We've had Monday and Tuesday now, but Pitch Black, never reviewed. Often, sometimes I forget it's a Universal film. Saw it in the theater when it first came out back in 2000. Who knew what was lying ahead in terms of 9/11 and everything else? But saw it in the theater, and I remember liking it. I remember being pretty impressed, although, your first impressions walking out of the theater are never really what they are a day or two later. You kind of, it's kind of like Jeremy Johns on his reviews, a day later already forgotten. Kind of thing, and not that you forget necessarily, but it really just depends on the film. But you do walk out with an extra heightened sense of, dang, that was good. And then next morning you're sort of like, yeah, it was all right. But Pitch Black, man, Pitch Black, I continue to be impressed with this. I revisited it last night. Now, we are talking a David Twohy film. He also did Below in 2002. And this is week 516, if I didn't say that already. But this has the likes of Cole Hauser, Vin Diesel, Radha Mitchell as Carolyn, a few others I'm not really that familiar with. An Interscope communications film. David Egsby was this, was he the cinematographer on this? Notable, he got his start on shooting the original Mad Max, was his first film as a cinematographer. He also did the likes of Warlock, and he did the thermal camera work for Predator. So dude's done some work, right? Composer Ravel, Jason, you'll like this one if you're watching. He actually did the score for Spontaneous Combustion. You reviewed that not that long ago. Child's Play 2. What do we got here? The Crow, From Dusk Till Dawn, The Ruins. So this guy's been working, right? And David Twohy is a writer. You may not know that he's written Critters 2, Warlock, The Fugitive, dang good movie. But also he I don't know where I picked this up. I don't think it was in this. And I did dig this out of my Fangoria pile and read this morning, actually, with a nice little short piece on Keith David. Did I call him David Keith earlier? I don't know. I hope not. Keith David. God, man, I miss these days, man. God, the old Fangos, man. Just could really get into that. Somewhere I picked up that maybe it was in the trivia section. I think it was in the trivia section on IMDb, said something to the effect of that the idea, the genesis of Pitch Black actually was an unused script he wrote that was the intention was Alien 3. So he was able to kind of go back, rework things out. I'm surprised he was able to retain the script, actually, because once you wrote one and kind of submitted, you tend to lose it. And I'm glad he was able to retain it and go back and sort of do a readjustment, because I think you can see the germs of something like an Alien 3 at the core of this story. Obviously, it sort of goes up. But, imagine this. Imagine Vin Diesel, his character, Riddick, actually having escaped the prison colony that we have come to know that is Alien 3. That's an interesting thought if you sort of carry that one out. I would love to see the Chronicles of Riddick sort of franchise as it's becoming. I would love, boy, on the copyrights though, you probably couldn't get away with it, but I would love to somehow see him a connection to that story somehow. That would be an interesting thing. But Pitch Black, basically, it's we don't get enough space horror movies, and this one is probably more sci-fi, but it does have horror elements in there for sure. And the interesting concept of just a group crash landing on a deserted or seemingly deserted planet, finding what is the remnants of like a colony or something, right? And no one's there, and it doesn't look like they left. So where did they go? And then you've got this super eclipse hit, right? And this planet is about to be plunged into darkness for 30 days or something? Can't remember what it was actually, but plunged into complete darkness, and then the entire thing comes to life with everything that's living underneath the surface. And you get a little bit of glimpse before the eclipse, right? Interesting arc with Vin Diesel in terms of who he is as a character and who he is when the film ends. The ultimate fate of a couple characters, one in particular I'm thinking about. I don't know if somehow this one has somewhat kind of gone underneath, and you missed it. This is definitely worth checking out for sure. And I was thinking last night, I put it in. I've got a 4K player, 4K TV. Obviously, I'm running the DVD here. I don't know why I didn't grab this. But my wife even agreed that, you get the upscale effect where anything you put in can be a DVD. It's going to look just a little bit better than it normally would. And I just said to her, man, in the opening, as the film opens, I thought, man, could you imagine what this looks like in 4K? I bet it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I didn't even think to look to see if it's seen a 4K release. I mean, for all I know, it could have, but I haven't heard or recall hearing of one. So I don't know. I think this would look absolutely astounding on 4K, and probably sound astounding on 4K. And so it's interesting, you've got the dynamics of the captain, who becomes the captain by default, because we do lose the captain in the crash. Apparently they hit something like a asteroid belt of sorts and get hit and then end up being forced to crash and land where our to-be now captains by default. She will make, this is Radha Mitchell, will make, isn't she in Rogue, Rogue. She'll make, attempt to make the choice to purge most of the sections of the ship, even containing people. That will come back in the story later on and actually used against her by a couple characters. Cole Hauser is pretty cool in this. He plays someone like a ranger who has captured Riddick, and he is transporting him back to a prison. You learn a lot about him too as a character. Most of them are hiding something. So it's an interesting sci-fi piece. This could have been edgier. This could have been a little darker. But for what it is, it was. I seem to recall a pleasant trip to the theater, and now I'm this 4K buzz. I'm thinking. I'm just wondering. I got to look later today and see if by chance this has gotten a 4K release, because this. I don't need everything on 4K, but if I have something on DVD and I just have a sense that it's going to look pretty phenomenal, I don't know. It's that's when I usually do it. So compared to everything else, my 4K section is probably like that. Just special things. And I don't know if this quite qualifies, but I am curious. So Pitch Black, Universal, little space horror. Almost kind of too bad this wasn't left as a standalone, although it has generated a world of its own, both animated and the other films, including the last one I think was just simply Riddick, perhaps. So interesting. So here at Universal Week, just exploring Universal films, and it ought to be an interesting week. I know you're at least going to get one, maybe two oldies but goodies. Hope they do continue to follow. I'm doing this sort of way way ahead of schedule. So, you know, we'll see how that week ultimately lands. But as always, man, thank you for the support. Thank you for continuing to support Body Bags, and with the comments, the likes, the subs, everything helps. Everything you do helps. Yeah, we're in September, riding our way closer and closer to October, which ought to be a fun month. As always, and it's football, right? Football is upon us. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.
We might be useful to you.